My name is Mike Christakis. I serve as UAlbany's Vice President for Student Affairs, and more importantly, I'm a two-time Rockefeller College alum. In 1947, what is now Rockefeller College of Public Affairs and Policy opened its doors to veterans returning to their positions and non-veterans interested in professional academic studies. For 75 years, Rockefeller has provided students with the knowledge and tools to make a difference locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. For me, in the fall of 1999, it's only yesterday, I arrived to Rockefeller College as a bright-eyed, newly minted college grad, full of excitement. Be prepared to make a difference. Be prepared to make a difference, the mantra read. Everywhere you turned, be prepared to make a difference. On t-shirts, on coffee mugs, on bumper stickers, be prepared to make a difference. So, being the poor grad student that I was, I bought a bunch of that swag. The t-shirts, the coffee mugs, the bumper stickers, I was all in, really all in. And for me, like many of you who are Rockefeller grads, I strived to make a difference. In every corner of the world, in communities and boardrooms, legislative and executive chambers, small nonprofits and large corporations, I could go on and on and on. Rockefeller College, our students, our graduates, our faculty, our staff, we make a difference each and every day. And so, while I couldn't find for the life of me a t-shirt, a coffee mug, or a bumper sticker to, my wife is laughing in the front, to share, because I think it would be a super cool prop, couldn't find it. I, like each of you, have spent every waking hour of every day trying to make a difference, as best as I can. Not because that mantra somehow inspired me, but because of the people that taught me, influenced me, and guided me. The faculty, Frank Thompson, Norma Rakucci, Beryl Radin, Irene Lurie, Sue Fairman, Judith Seidel, Mitch Abulafia. They were my teachers and my inspiration. Tonight, we are fortunate that we will continue the proud tradition of honoring our alums, individuals who have made a difference. So thank you all, again, for coming together tonight to celebrate 75 years of Rockefeller College. I look forward to celebrating with each of you. Thank you so much. Now, the real reason I'm here. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing your MC for the evening, Joe Bonilla. Look at this. Oh, look at this already. As some of you know, Joe serves on the board of the UAlbany Alumni Association, the Rockefeller College Advisory Board, and outside of the university, he is a board member at the Ronald McDonald House Charities of the Capital Region and the Rensselaer County Chamber of Commerce. On top of all of that, and several other positions, he spends his days running Relentless Awareness, a creative strategy firm that in the last few years has started serving clients nationwide. A moment of personal privilege. Joe, I first met Joe as a new transfer student in my Introduction to Public Policy class, so I can take some responsibility or some blame for his career. Joe, we just confirmed, we took 2 classes together, and from that very first moment that I met Joe, being able to witness his growth and development has meant a great deal to me. I consider Joe a friend now, and it's my great honor to introduce Joe Bonilla, tonight's MC. Joe.
Thank you so much, Mike. As Mike mentioned, I had his class 2 times, in 2008 and 2009, and yes, I am here because of your due diligence and instruction. So thank you and thank you. I'm Joe Bonilla, myself a proud alumnus of Rockefeller College, a member of the advisory board, and one of the 75th anniversary challengers. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all the students, alumni, faculty, staff, and friends of the college who are here this evening. I'd like to make a special note of several people who are here. I'd like to first ask my fellow advisory boards to stand if you are able to be recognized. The board members standing. Come on, board members, there we go. The board members standing right now give an astronomical amount back to the college, your time, talent, and treasure, and I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to be here. I know it's been a long day, and many of you have traveled quite the distance, even from South Carolina. Thank you all for making the college one of your top priorities, particularly at this time of the year. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. Please take your seats. Rockefeller College stands as a pillar at UAlbany, but within the Rockefeller College community, there are several individuals who should be acknowledged as well. With Interim Dean Novkov and former Dean Carl Rethmeyer, please stand in your seats. The leadership that you have offered over the years has been extraordinary, and we can confidently say Rockefeller College would not be recognized as a top school had it not been for your leadership and dedication. So thanks again for that. One more time. Yeah, we can do that. I'd like to also recognize Jonathan Doe and Libby Post, my fellow tri-chairs and 75th anniversary challengers, who you will hear from shortly this evening. We have several members of the university leadership here with us this evening: Provost Carol Kim, Mike Chrisakis, Lee Saravillo, and Teresa Pardo. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here tonight to recognize the importance of Rockefeller College. Rockefeller has been long an important part of the state of New York, well before it was part of UAlbany. Because of this long-standing relationship between the state and the college, we invited Governor Kathy Hochul to be here this evening. Unfortunately, she was not able to join us, but we are thrilled to have my dear friend, Harry Heschenhausch, and Dr. Guillermo Linares here on her behalf. Harry is currently serving as interim Capital Region representative for Governor Hochul, and Dr. Linares is serving as president of the New York State Higher Education Services Corporation. At this time, I'd like to have Harry say a few words. Harry?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Joe, for that introduction. It's always a pleasure to be introduced by a fellow Albany High Falcon. Thank you for your incredible leadership in this space and, of course, in our community. We thank you immensely for everything. The governor sends her regrets tonight. She cannot be here this evening, but she does send her very best and heartfelt congratulations to Rockefeller for this milestone of 75 years. She's also asked me by executive order not to regale you with 5 minutes of my stand-up routine, so we should be spared an incredible experience tonight. As an Albany native, I can personally say the impact of Rockefeller College is everywhere. From walking around the streets of Albany to the hallowed halls of the Capitol, the Legislative Office Building, and of course, every state entity that we have, you are everywhere. You are the premier institution for government in our region, and for 75 years, you've directed communities through Cold Wars, counterculture movements, political scandals, pandemics, and more. Past and current policy leaders have been here, and the future ones are on their way. And you've helped create the essence of the Empire State. And you're going to help define our future. I've had the pleasure to work with some of your alumni as close colleagues, and I can say that it's always been a pleasure to work with them. Whenever a problem has arisen or a challenge that we needed to face, Rockefeller alum have always met that challenge, and solving problems always was less challenging working with them, except for lunch. They can't pick lunch, and they always have several policy positions on that. So let's get working on that, professors. Excuse me. But I think the dean's words put it best. You are here to teach, to discover, and be in service of helping society solve their pressing challenges. That's what Rockefeller has done since 1947 in various fields like criminal justice reform, community communications and advocacy, green energy, and of course, the New York State budget negotiations. Joking aside, the governor has always looked to you as leaders for her inspiration. She thrives with the passion and the talent that you bring to every project you commit yourselves to, and recognizes the strength, determination, and sacrifices that you have made for the greater good. On behalf of the governor, my colleagues in state government, and New Yorkers at large, we thank you and we congratulate you on this night.
Good evening. It's wonderful joining you, Harry, this evening. And Joe, thank you for your leadership. I don't know where you find time to do so many things, but I think there's a magic that I think we inherited from our parents and grandparents and so forth. So, congratulations to this year's award recipients, and congratulations to the Rockefeller College of Public Affairs and Policy in its 75th anniversary. It is my honor to be joining you today on behalf of New York State Governor Kathy Hochul. The governor sends her regards and offers her sincere congratulations to the recipients of this year's awards. As president of HESC, my life's work has focused on improving access to public education, and I am privileged to help carry out Governor Hochul's vision for all New Yorkers and to work towards our shared goal to help New York students realize their dream of a higher education. The governor's 2022-2023 enacted budget includes expanding the New York's part-time tuition assistance program to serve 75,000 additional students who are unable to attend full-time due to other responsibilities such as work or child care, providing tuition-free workforce credential programs at community college for high-demand fields that enable students to obtain the skills required to get to work immediately, and enabling SUNY to become the best and most equitable statewide system of higher education in the country. These initiatives will help make an education after high school more affordable and attainable, especially among disadvantaged populations who face inequities that are barriers to a higher education. As a first-generation college student and a native of the Dominican Republic who immigrated to New York as a teenager, I know firsthand the profound impact that college education can have. A college education can help close equity gaps and accelerate upward mobility, especially among minority populations. Today, I could not be prouder to be standing here joining the Rockefeller College in celebrating 75 years and the 2022 Rockefeller College Award recipients. For 75 years, the Rockefeller College has been shaping our nation's next generation of leaders, influencers, and change makers, many of whom are making a difference right here in New York State, and some who chose to make their difference right here within New York State government. In line with this long tradition that Rockefeller has as an institution, I have some wonderful news to share with you today, which I added to my remarks. Earlier today, at a breakfast, Governor Kathy Hochul hosted an event, a breakfast at the Museo del Barrio, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. She announced the launch of the New York State Institute for Immigrant Integration, Research, and Policy to help immigrants transition to community life, further education, and the workforce. The Institute, which received funding in the fiscal year 2023 state budget, will be housed at Rockefeller Institute of Government and at the State University of New York Public Policy think tank. The announcement coincides with the selection of an advisory board of community leaders who will set in motion groundbreaking policy development and select an executive director and an assistant director in the coming months. I think that deserves an applause because it really demonstrates the recognition after 75 years that this institution has, not just for the state of New York, but for the country and for humanity. As I learn about this year's award recipients and alumni, I am so impressed with your breadth of experience, leadership, and dedication to success. Today, in closing, I want to share a few words that have helped me find success in my journey from that young man who came to New York at the age of 14 to be the first Dominican in the United States elected to public office, to be president of HESC. I hope that I can help inspire some of you to continue to do your part in helping to shape the world around you and those who come after you. Just a few comments in that regard. Remain rooted in who you are. Be true to yourself and never surrender your core values and principles, even if it means saying no. Understand and acknowledge that opportunities exist for you because of those who came before you. Remember that those that came before you and took on challenges to give you an opportunity to be able to stand here today. And even more importantly, take a minute to thank those people, your parents, your family, your friends, who lifted you up and helped you get to where you are today. Keep doors open for those following you. Leverage your talent and skills so that other people will have an opportunity. And as you move forward in life and work, reach out and grab others and bring them along. And leave your door open. Know that opportunity comes from unexpected people and places. And lastly, remember that teamwork is the key to overcoming challenges. Find that cohort of people who will work with you to push forward. It is my sincere privilege to join you today. Thank you for having me, and congratulations to the Rockefeller College, to the 2022 award recipients.
Thank you, Dr. Linares. Thank you, Harry, on behalf of the governor. I know she's very busy, but at least the commitment she has made to at least making sure that we have representation from her office. I at this time now introduce Provost Carol Kim to welcome our guest as well. There you are.
Thank you so much, Joe, and thank you all for joining us this evening. Since March of 2020, we've seen annual events canceled and postponed with hopes that we'll be able to get together again soon. So I'm really thrilled to be celebrating this evening with you all once again, face-to-face, for the first time since 2019. I'd like to commend Rockefeller College on they're continuing this tradition, even in the years that we were unable to gather in person. We look to you, our exceptional alumni, for inspiration and support as we navigate the challenges we face. The impressive alumni community that Rockefeller College has generated includes great leaders in our communities, including Joe Bonilla, our MC for the evening, and of course my colleague, Mike Christakis, who you just heard from a few minutes ago, is another extraordinary Rockefeller alum. And all of you, whether you're an alumni, faculty, or staff member, current student, or friend, or family member of an award recipient, you're all part of the Rockefeller College community and the UAlbany family. To our award recipients on stage with me now, your accomplishments are truly awe-inspiring. For the young alumni and the recent graduates who have been named award recipients this year, what you've accomplished in the short time since you've completed your degrees is beyond impressive. And the distinguished alumni who are honored this evening have exceedingly impressive careers as public servants and in the private sector. Your collective impact on our communities and on society is significant indeed. I know that you've made yourselves available to connect with our students, and these connections are invaluable. Your mentoring inspires and motivates them and will support the students as they pursue any of the excellent career paths that they have paved for themselves. Throughout the 75th anniversary year, we'll continue to celebrate the impact of Rockefeller College, what Rockefeller College has made on UAlbany, these impacts, and on our communities, the great state of New York, and beyond. I want to congratulate everyone in the Rockefeller College community who has had their hand in making this 75th year celebration of the college such a success. Again, congratulations to all of tonight's honorees and to Rockefeller College for 75 amazing years. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Joe. So thank you.
Thank you, Provost Kim. As I mentioned earlier, in honor of Rockefeller College's 75th anniversary, Libby Post, class of 82 and 84, and Jonathan Doe, class of 85, along with myself, established a fundraising challenge to support the college's programs and its people. The three of us all know the importance of Rockefeller College and the impact it makes on our communities, whether it's locally here in the Capital Region, across the nation, and around the world. My fellow tri-chairs are here this evening, and I'd like to give them each an opportunity to share the important impact Rockefeller College has made on their lives. I'd like to first introduce Jonathan Doe.
Thank you so much, Joe. Let me first thank Joe and Libby for either inviting me to join you in this challenge, or perhaps I invited you to join me in this challenge. I'm not sure exactly how it worked, but thank you for coming together. Let me thank all of you who have stepped up to help us match this challenge, and not just match it, but as Dean Novkov reported today, and I hope I'm not stealing thunder here, we've not only matched it, we've exceeded it. First, the challenge was raised to $100,000. And then, as Dean Novkov mentioned today, we blew past that, and now we're at $117,000. Does that mean we need to step up more as well on our part? I hope not. Hope not. But let's congratulate all of you who stepped forward to make this contribution. And while I'm on this topic, as much as the state has done so much for this university and the Rockefeller College, there are a lot of needs these days. Students are facing challenges. And I hope that as you think about your philanthropic options as we near the end of the year, that you keep the Rockefeller College close and dear to you. Let's also thank Interim Dean Julie Novkov, who I just mentioned, Shelley Friel, who was the one that first drew me into the family here, and Carl as well, for all their leadership and their efforts on this 75th anniversary. And although they've already been acknowledged, I don't think that we can acknowledge them enough. Renee Wallingford and Kelly Hammond, who've helped put this whole thing together, and a lot goes into it. A lot goes into it. And of course, the advisory board, we had a great board meeting today, very engaged, a lot of excitement, a lot of interaction with Celia Pelkey and Gary Stryer. So thanks, Celia and Gary. So as some of you know, I come from a family of educators, and as such, I have experienced the power and the transformational possibilities of education from my time as a small child. Despite this, I had a bit of a meandering professional pathway, and it was really at Rockefeller when I began first to explore what really mattered to me, what I aspired to become, and how I might put the pieces together to make that happen. And it was actually in my MA thesis, or I think it's called a master's essay, actually, not quite a thesis, that I really began to think about what it was that I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And so I am so personally grateful that I had the opportunity, frankly, first to flounder and experiment a little bit, and then get back on track, a track and pathway that led me first to the New York State Assembly, then to the New York State Department of Economic Development, then to Washington, to the US Department of Commerce, where I worked on the US-Canada Free Trade Agreement and NAFTA, and then when I transitioned to the academic world, to Georgetown, American, and Villanova University, where I've spent the rest of my career. I think it is almost a cliche to say that the world faces unprecedented challenges. These challenges are so substantial that some have called them grand challenges, and they are grand indeed. They include things like inequality, climate change, forced migration, income insecurity, racism, geopolitical tension and conflict, and many more. We need our very best and brightest working to tackle these issues and other challenges. And that's why I support Rockefeller College, why I hope you will support Rockefeller College, and why I'm here tonight. Thank you. Libby, may I invite you now to offer a couple words?
Just a couple?
As many as you like.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you all for coming out tonight and being a part of this, and thanks Dean Novkov, Julie. We served on a board together a long time ago, and I know many of you. Rockefeller, I started Rockefeller when I was a fellow at the Center for Women in Government. Back then it was called the Revson Fellowship on Women in Public Policy. And I got a legislative position. I became a press secretary to one Assemblywoman, May Newberger, who's no longer on the planet, but she ran the Task Force on Women's Issues, and that really started things rolling. I came here in 1980, actually in 1978, as an intern at what was SASU, the Student Association of State University, no longer is in existence. But SASU is all over. There's never a time that I don't turn a corner and there's somebody that I had worked with. And then I came to the college, the university, in 1980 when my parents said, go back to school or else. So I did. And it was a great decision for me to make. I came from the University of Buffalo, came here. This was a much better fit for me, that's for sure. And my undergraduate degree in political science has served me well from Rockefeller College and my master's in political communications. When you put the two of those things together, it's made my life what it is today. And now I can say I'm a political consultant and a lobbyist. And it really is because of what has happened here. The fellowship or the scholarship, the endowment that, first of all, Mike Boots asked me to do it. So give him a raise. Okay, he's not here tonight, but he asked and I couldn't say no. And my partner Lynn and I had a discussion about it, and we decided that this was the right thing to do because students need the support that they're going to get. And the endowment that I'm doing is specifically about social justice policy to make sure that students have the ability to study things like LGBTQ issues, like racism, like all the kinds of things that we are being challenged with in our society right now. And I've never lived through, I don't think any of us have ever lived through a more bifurcated time than we're in right now. And I can tell you this, I teach at Rockefeller, which is a great honor for me. And I do, one class every couple of semesters. And this year I'm teaching the science and art of political campaigns. And at the intro session, we went around the room, and there were 23, 24 students, and all of them, they were all from Rockefeller, and they all said they believed in government. And it was like such a relief because of what we've been hearing so much, that government isn't good. We know that government is good, and we know that government can make a difference in people's lives if it is run well, like it is being now, and if there is a vision to make sure that people are taken care of, those who need to, that steps are taken to make sure that all of us are equal, that we all have a level playing field. And so I feel like there is hope. And I never gave up that hope, despite everything that went on in the last few years. And we cannot give up that hope. And these scholarships, these endowments that we've put together are giving students hope that they can make a difference in our world as they move forward. So I want to thank you all for being a part of this. Give, give, give. I don't have any problem asking people for money, so, okay? Make another commitment if you can, and be a part of this great program and this great college. Thank you.
Thank you, Libby and Jonathan. They truly represent the brightest and dedicated alumni that Rockefeller has to offer. I am honored, and it's weird to be in the same company as these two distinguished alums, but I thank them also for prioritizing the future of Rockefeller. Speaking of impressive alumni and the future, we have an amazing group of alumni here on the stage. This group represents the 2022 Alumni Award recipients. I would like now to take a moment to introduce you to each of them. Our first award of the evening is presented to someone you may have already heard about, Michael Tobman. Michael is the membership director of a leading and diverse real estate trade group. He has held important positions in government, government relations, and communications for over 25 years. He is an attorney, has served as a general consultant, a communications director, a principal, and a chief of staff. He has also worked alongside 5 governors of the great state of New York. And while all of those accomplishments are incredibly impressive, none of them, I repeat, none of them, are the reason why he's been asked to be here tonight. Michael is someone who anyone can connect with. If you meet him, you have a friend for life. He treats every single person this way, including everyone here tonight. For any of you who have not had the opportunity to meet Michael, I recommend that you take the time to find him after this program. You will walk away with new names to connect with and an offer to meet for coffee or lunch the next time you're in New York City, or maybe even an offer for him to come back to Albany, which has happened many a time. This is just who Michael is. He has served on the advisory board of Rockefeller College since 2015. He has offered to host events for students and alumni, and he has served as a panelist as well as a moderator for several college events. He has worked to garner media attention to the college, and he also spent the evening of the 2020 election being the unofficial commentator for Rockefeller College during a virtual watch party. Despite the college's asks of him, he has never once said, "This is too much, I don't want to participate anymore, Kelly, stop calling me," all of that. In fact, he usually has additional ideas of his own. His endless energy is contagious, and I am happy to have him as a fellow member of the advisory board. Michael, congratulations on being named the 2022 recipient of the Service to College Award.
I'm speaking at a bar mitzvah later tonight, so I have to make sure I have the right speech. Otherwise, we'll be calling Bubby and Zadie up for candle number 5. So, Julie, Carl especially, to say that I was surprised to learn of this award would be an understatement. At this point, I promised my mother I wouldn't mention that I kind of, sort of, barely graduated college, so didn't mention that, check. My attachment to UAlbany and Rockefeller grows every year. The further along in my career and now seeing the kids in my blended family having their own college and high school and application experiences, it's become a richer and more meaningful relationship. I tell people that I'm finally nearly 50 years old having the college experience I couldn't figure out how to have in the early 1990s, which I think is very Gen X of me. The folks I have the pleasure of serving with on the Rockefeller board are a wonderful group. I'm attached to them and fond of them out of all proportion to how much time we actually spend together. I had wisecracks for each of them, but Kelly Hammond pulled me aside with a red pen and worked through my speech, and then when I found out it's being recorded, that was a whole nother situation. I have to say I got started in politics thanks to an internship in the state senate through UAlbany, and that was some education because then I dropped out of college to work in the state senate and then came back and got my last 12 credits and graduated. I was hired at the Nassau County Legislature because I got a call from a friend who also went to Rockefeller College. I was hired by Senator Schumer so many years ago because I got a call from a friend who also went to UAlbany. I'm the thinking person I am because of the classes and people and professors and colleagues I interacted with here at UAlbany. I counsel U.S. senators and governors and political party leaders. I've helped elect members of Congress and state legislators and judges. I once got into a very heated argument with a British cabinet secretary about the role of Sinn Féin in New York state politics. I was right. I worked for years with 9/11 families, which was both humbling and empowering and just a very deep and meaningful experience. I've written speeches and columns for the famous and the infamous, but here's the best part. Most of the time, I have no idea what I'm doing. Not a clue. But I do it decisively. And if I have any advice for students or people looking to make career changes, do it decisively. Because unless an enormous mistake has been made, like a political science major trying to do surgery, you belong in every single room that you're invited into. So man the state in war is not the same as organic chemistry or anatomy, but you could probably wing it, right? So last few words, and then in a perfect world, or at least a better one, Julie Novkov would be on the Supreme Court. Renee Wallingford and Kelly would be co-White House Chiefs of Staff. Victor Assal would be CIA director. Carl Rethmeyer would be head of NSA. Virginia Eubanks would be head of HHS. Jose Cruz running the OAS. Dana Peterson would run the Justice Department. I've put some time into this. Lucy Sorensen would be head of the Education Department. Frankie Bailey would be Secretary of State. Peter Brousseau would be, I still have no idea what Peter Brousseau does. Are you here? I love you. Right? Cecilia Pelkey would be, will be one day the governor of Rhode Island. Sean Bushway would be the head of GAO. Niloufar Siddiqui would be UN Secretary General, and so forth. But until then, we should celebrate who we are and what we are and who we're with, and we should work all the time towards that better world. So thank you so much for all this. It's truly wonderful.
Congrats against Michael. I mean, that was an incredible world he just painted right there. Our next award is the Distinguished Alumna in Criminal Justice Award, which goes to Lee Bates. Lee has 15 years of experience in criminal justice research and policy analysis in New York State. As Deputy Commissioner in the Division of Criminal Justice Services, Office of Justice, Research and Performance, Lee oversees staff who prepare criminal justice statistics, research, and analysis to support policy and inform decision-making. This includes assessing criminal justice programming to improve alignment with the evidence base, providing research and analytic support for gun violence reduction initiatives, and overseeing the development of the Criminal Justice Knowledge Bank and Research Consortium, which promotes the use of evidence-based practices and supports local practitioner and researcher partnerships. Lee currently oversees research and analysis related to youth justice, firearm violence, bail reform, and other criminal justice initiatives. Lee holds a master's in public administration from the University of Arizona. We will not hold that against you. And a PhD in criminal justice from UAlbany. Tonight, we congratulate her on being named Distinguished Alumna in Criminal Justice. Congratulations, Lee.
I'm going to rely on technology here, so we'll see how this goes. I just wanted to say thank you. I'm so honored to be up here with my friends and neighbors and colleagues and really distinguished people. It's truly an honor to be here. I wanted to take just a minute or two to thank a couple of people who have meant so much to my life, my family, my career, and so I wanted to take a moment just to acknowledge them. First and foremost, obviously, Steve Bates, who is my better half and who has been so supportive of me and of all of my decisions, some of them good, some of them not so good. His unwavering support has been amazing. I mean, except for that time when I said I wanted to take 2 weeks off of work and go be an extra on Gilded Age. It was a little bit of wavering then, but it was still like right there 100%. The other person I want to thank is Terry Salo, who's my former boss and the previous deputy commissioner in the Office of Justice Research and Performance. And Terry was I'm stealing this phrase, but a conduit of energy. And so I appreciate her mentorship over the years when I started out as an intern at DCJS, as I was a graduate student in the School of Criminal Justice. It continued when I came back several years later as a full-time staff person, and even now when she's retired and still takes my calls when I call and complain about work and ask for her advice. And then the last person I want to thank is Alan Lazat. And Alan was the chair of my dissertation committee. He was one of the first professors that I had at SUNY. He was a friend, he was a mentor. He taught me so much. And I miss him terribly. I missed so much not being able to call him and thank him. I think more than anybody else, he would understand and appreciate what an honor this is for me. So thank you to Alan, thank you to Terry, thank you to Steve, thank you to Rockefeller College and to the School of Criminal Justice. I really, really appreciate this.
Our next award recipient is Scott De La Vega. He will be receiving the Distinguished Alumnus in Political Science Award. He is a member of the federal government's Career Senior Executive Service and was appointed by President Biden to be his acting Secretary of the Interior in January 2021. Scott served as Interior's Director of Presidential Transition in 2020 and served on the federal government's Agency Transition Directors Council. Scott has a long and distinguished history of service in the federal government. He is on the senior management team of the Office of the Solicitor for Interior and also currently serves as the Associate Solicitor for General Law, the department's highest-ranking career attorney. Prior to taking that position, he was the director of the Departmental Ethics Office and the designated agency ethics official for DOI. Previously, Scott served for several years in various nonpartisan senior legal positions at the White House. He is respected at the highest levels in Washington by members of both parties and has been cited in national media by the Wall Street Journal and the LA Times. Unfortunately, and you can hear how busy this guy is, I mean, he's done a lot in his career. Unfortunately, Scott could not be with us this evening, but his niece, Isabella De La Vega, is here with us, and she will be accepting the award on his behalf. Our next awardee, Joey Jackson, is a nationally recognized attorney who has represented individuals and labor unions in state and federal court for over 2 decades. As principal and founder of Joey Jackson Law, Joey oversees every aspect of the practice. He and his associates have represented a diverse group of clients under the glare of cameras, as well as those who have never attracted public attention. He has built an outstanding career as a trial lawyer representing clients who have fallen into high-stakes personal and professional crises, as well as the average citizen in need of his fierce and benevolent counsel. Joey may look familiar to many of you. His straight-talking legal expertise is held in high regard by media outlets, as he frequently appears on various cable news programs over the last decade. Currently, he is a legal analyst for CNN and HLN. Joey, congratulations on being selected as this year's Distinguished Alumnus in Public Administration.
A pleasant good evening to everyone. A pleasant good evening to everyone. All right. A few things. Item number one, my respect, my appreciation, my gratitude for all the awardees and everyone who represents this school so well, the alumni who have done so much to inspire, to serve as role models to others. Just a dynamite place to be, and that's what I'd really like to tailor my remarks to. Number two, I just want to give you a sense of what the school actually did for me, because it's important, and I mentioned it already, and it's inspire. And number three, I just want to say a little bit, about, I think, life's mission in general. With respect to inspiration, I think that's the most important thing that any institution can do. And in coming to this particular school, I really found myself more, right? So I'm a kid who grew up in the Bronx and really didn't have a sense of direction or purpose. And it's important, I think, in life, and I tell every young person that I have the pleasure of speaking to, find your passion, find your purpose, find that thing that wakes you up in the morning. And when you do that, right, be persistent about it and know and understand that sometimes you might trip and slip and fall and all that other stuff, but you're not measured by the setback, you're measured by the comeback. And so I think it's imperative that we know and we understand what persistence means. And I think it's important through that journey also to pay it forward. And that's something that this school really did with me. I remember and I have recollections of my fellow classmates who were so focused, who, were just so friendly. We did so many things. And a lot of my memories, obviously it wasn't here, but downtown, really had to do with whether it was we were skiing, whether we were fishing, whether we were playing softball. We did so many things together. And in doing that, talked about policy and all the rest of it. And my journey to get here was pretty interesting, right? I went to SUNY Brockport upstate, and I really wasn't much of, a student at all. But I finally realized that there was a correlation between hard work, right, and a result that could be achieved. And that comes with the persistence I talked about. And there was a direct effect between how much I worked and how much I got done. And I could remember being at SUNY Brockport and getting elected president of the student government and saying to myself, what do I want to do now? Well, maybe it is politics. And so I transitioned into doing that. I spent the summer in Albany at the state education department, got some credits, went to, thereafter, Washington, D.C. I worked for a congressman, came home, worked for a mayor of New York City, and then I found myself in Albany. And the funny story I like to tell, not so funny, is that when I was working for the state legislature, Office of Program and Counsel, they had this wonderful tuition reimbursement program. And I said, you know what, maybe I should, and you had to wait 2 years to work for the state legislature in order to be eligible. So I said, let me work the 2 years and then I'll see what this Rockefeller College is all about. Thank goodness I didn't wait. I started right away, because 2 years later, I was almost done with my degree and they had cut the program. You know how state budget cuts are, right? So it's never good to wait. You want to capitalize on that. But I just found a lot of inspiration here, and it just really catapulted me to do other things. Went back to the Bronx, did a few things, served on my community board, decided to go to law school, and thereafter became a prosecutor and, did the defense work and then started my own firm. So I just bring back, and I started with the whole issue of the Bronx, because a lot of times people see people as they are now, and everybody's a work in progress. And there's so many things that develop us and build us. And, people undergo in life a lot of pain oftentimes, right? A lot of sacrifice oftentimes. Everyone, here and, on the stage, I'm sure is familiar with failure. And the reality is that that's part of the process. That's part of what we need to go through, the crucible of pain, to get to the joy on the other side. And so, when I talk about a school that inspired me, and I look at really Rockefeller College of Public Affairs and Policy, that's what it did, because it catapulted me into those other things. And yes, painful experiences and trying to work hard and maybe not getting great results on an exam and maybe tripping and maybe slipping and maybe falling, but just having the ability to persevere. And so to the extent that this school was so instrumental in my development, in really just teaching me, and the professors really taking an opportunity to sit with me, to develop me, the administrators sitting down with me to plot a course and a strategy for the future, that's priceless, right? It's priceless because there's the demonstration of the commitment of the faculty, the commitment of the professors, the commitment of the school community into you as an individual. And that commitment really helps you to develop yourself so that you can find the passion, you could find your purpose, you could be persistent, and you could ultimately get to where you need to and want to be, right? And so in saying all of this, I just want to really express gratitude, because I'm full of that, for everything that this school represents to where I am now. And in growing up as a kid in the Bronx, I had a curly afro back then. It was pretty funny. I combed it once in a while. But the bottom line is that I just didn't really have a sense of what I was going to do or be or anything else. And so to the extent that I had an institution that allowed me to find that, I just don't know really how to thank, the school, the community, the students, and anyone else. And in summarizing all of this, obviously, we're not only here because of faculty and administrators and other students, but we're here because of our families. And, priority one is that we take care of our families, because, boy, do they take care of us. And so to my lovely wife who sits there right now, I thank you for all you do, all you have put up with, and all you continue to do to set me straight, set me right, and make sure that, I get every day that I'm able to be the best version of myself. And so I appreciate you, our family, And I thank all of you, not only for listening to me now, but just for the ability to be here, to appear before you, and for having just gotten here because of all the school has done to inspire, uplift, and promote those who really have the honor of sitting in the chairs here. So thank you very much, and God bless.
Don't want to forget that. Congrats, Joey. The next 3 award recipients have all made impressive impacts on their industries in the short time since they completed their degrees at UAlbany. Dr. Kamala Hughes has been on the LaSalle School staff since 2012. She is the Assistant Director of Performance and Quality Improvement. Her research interests include evidence-based practice, trauma-informed care, and the linkages between client characteristics, treatment interventions, and outcomes for youth. Dr. Hughes actively presents on these topics at regional, national, and international conferences and trainings. She was the co-principal investigator of Service Outcomes Action Research, a partnership designed to aid LaSalle School in the development and testing of a theory of change to help determine what methods work best for which clients. She is currently the chair of the Association of Children's Residential and Community Services Research Committee. Dr. Hughes has earned 3 degrees in her lifetime. Thankfully, 2 came from the School of Criminal Justice. We are so impressed with all you have done and all you will continue to do. Congratulations on being named Young Alumna in Criminal Justice.
Hi, everybody. I'm so honored to receive this award. When I read the email informing me that I would have a few minutes to speak about how the Rockefeller College and the School of Criminal Justice has impacted me, I admit I felt some anxiety. How on earth does one describe impact? And then I realized I founded my business, Data Narratives, to do that. To tell stories using data. So then how has the time with Rockefeller College and the School of Criminal Justice impacted my life and my work? The doors that were opened as a result of my studies and assistantships has resulted in 13 publications, 33 conference presentations. I have taught 107 undergraduate and graduate classes for local colleges and universities. My work at LaSalle School, a relationship that started my first week at Albany as a result of my work with the Service Outcomes Action Research Project and Dana Peterson, has allowed me to impact the lives of more than 5,000 youth and children within the juvenile justice and child welfare sphere. And it has given me the opportunity to provide hundreds of hours of training to schools, police departments, youth, human service workers, and criminal justice professionals. But the numbers don't tell the whole story. To do that, we also need the narrative part, data narratives. To do that, I have to talk about the result of being in the School of Criminal Justice and how there I found my fit. First, in Draper 247, where I found I was able to work with other people who liked numbers just as much as I did, which made me weird everywhere else, but I had a place there. And then at LaSalle School, where I've been able to combine research and practice in a way that I didn't even know was possible, and with my work at the Association of Children's Residential and Community Services, where I have the honor of collaborating with some of the most amazing and dedicated people, working to be an international voice for best practices and innovation in the field. And I found my home because of the School of Criminal Justice, because it put me in a position to meet my husband, Bradley, and to build a family with my daughter, Emmy, and my son, Cullen. So in sum, the impact of my involvement in the Rockefeller College and the School of Criminal Justice has been profound, life-changing. I would not be the researcher, presenter, professor, wife, or mother I am without it. Thank you.
Congrats again. Dave Sullivan is the co-founder and president of Squire Technologies, the premier all-in-one barbershop management platform. Since its inception in 2015, Squire has reinvented the concept of barbershop community and turned daily operations on its head, pun fully intended. Dave's vision was this: to create a solution to a problem he observed since childhood, developing a way for getting haircuts to become seamless for the client and for barbershops to become more efficient in running their businesses. He believes that technology can genuinely help improve lives and that Squire's most important impact is on helping local communities. By reducing the amount of time spent on back office, administrative, and daily operational tasks through Squire's technologies. Barbershop businesses, which are often family-owned or independent, can run in ways that enable their owners to have more time to spend with their families and in service to the communities. Dave has truly taken his degree in political science and turned it into an absolute public service. Dave, I want to congratulate you on being named this year Young Alumnus in Political Science.
Hi, how is everybody doing tonight? Great. Good to hear. So, I don't have anything prepared, so I'm just gonna go from my heart, which is normally I do. So, I'm an entrepreneur. But before that, I was a kid on Albany's campus. And I didn't graduate magna cum laude, summa cum laude. I graduated, thank God Almighty Almighty. You know, as a kid from, Brooklyn, New York, I grew up as in a single parent household on public assistance. We didn't have much growing up. But, that ambition from that circumstances, I think, fueled me to where I am today. I'm joined here by my two lovely sisters over there. One flew in from DC. But what I learned most about being here on college is the relationships you build here are most important. I still communicate with a crew that we used to call each other now, and they're a bunch of my closest friends. And while studying is important, while getting good grades is important, what's equally as important is building relationships, because these relationships will last a lifetime, and that's what it's all about. Having friends that you could depend on, having people you can communicate with, and having other friends that motivate you in other ways. So just want to say thank you for this award. I'm happy I'm here, and go you Albany.
Congrats again. Our final Young Alumni recipient is Saima Akhtar. Saima is senior attorney with the National Center for Law and Economic Justice. She works on issues that include SNAP benefits, food stamps, public assistance and emergency assistance, Medicaid, and concerns of due process. Saima has represented low-income clients both in court and in administrative proceedings and has served as counsel in a number of class action cases in New York State courts and in federal court as well. She has also provided continuing legal education sessions for the New York State Bar Association, the Sargent Shriver National Center on Poverty, the Practicing Law Institute, and the National Legal Aid and Defenders Association on topics such as SNAP basics, emergency assistance benefits in New York State appellate practice, and basic lawyering skills for new attorneys. Prior to joining the National Center for Law and Justice, Saima spent 12 years at the Empire Justice Center. Saima, your public service that you provide to your clients is immeasurable, and the impact that you've made in your lifetime is truly commendable. Congratulations on being named Young Alumna in Public Administration, and we look forward to seeing what you will accomplish next.
Thank you very much for this. I really appreciate it. I lost a case today. I got a decision about an hour and a half before I left my house. I don't think I'm the best lawyer in the world, but I will tell you it's been a really long time since I got a decision this bad. So coming here and thinking about what got me to a place that it's been a long time since I had a decision this bad was a worthwhile lead-in to getting here tonight. I am a litigator. I don't do a ton of government service work. I've never served in the legislature. I've never been a lobbyist as my primary work. I sue the government for a living. That's what I do. I sue the government on behalf of poor people. The whole goal is to make government do what it does better with a little bit of a hammer, sometimes when that's what's needed. And law school is about problem solving. Being a lawyer is about taking people's problems and trying to help them find a solution. Legal education gives you one set of tools, and unfortunately, particularly when I was in law school before, I think it's changing more now, but a huge amount of legal education has been focused on protecting wealth and protecting assets and protecting established systems, which is really the opposite direction of where I was going. We were looking at law reform and looking at how to make the systems work for people who did not have wealth and did not have property and did not have rights and were not even treated as people at certain points in our history. It was a huge game changer for me. I really hated law school. I did a joint degree program, so I was in law school and I was in my master's program at the same time. I hated law school. I wasn't really sure I was going to finish law school. I took some graduate classes here, I took some law school classes. I was doing both at the same time, and part of what kept me going in law school was being able to be here in an environment that was collaborative, in an environment that was talking about problem solving, that was talking about people in systems. I came into law school knowing I wanted to be a public interest lawyer and do this kind of work after having been a social worker before that. And so having the opportunity to come into a space where we looked at the roots of problems, where we talked about them in a meaningful way, where we talked about people in systems, for me was really uplifting and really important to how I developed the tools to solve these problems. It also means that now, when I am working, I will say with state agencies, they might not say it's with, but when I'm working with state agencies, generally under a court order, the tools I have for sitting at the table with agency staff and talking to them about implementation failures and how they are staffing and what their administration and their supervision is like and how they are budgeting and what they need to do to hire up and get the staff and the technology that they really need to meet the needs of their customers and clients and do their job is huge, right? And I'm gonna say this, learning how to read database and codes was probably one of the most useful skills I've gotten. So I absolutely shout out, thank you very much, Dean Rothmeyer. It's a huge set of tools, right? Law school is one set of tools. This is a robust tool bucket that I got out of this program to talk about implementation, to talk about government systems, to talk about how things should work and where our focus should be, and also how programs should run. I could not do the work I do every week and do it effectively without the tools I took out of this program and the people and the connections that I made here. So thank you. Thank you for making it a very long time since the last time I had a decision this bad.
Congratulations once again. Now for the 10 under 10. So each year, Rockefeller awards a group of 10 under 10 alumni, a list of alumni who are less than 10 years out from the degree and who have made notable contributions in their respective industry. I would go so far as saying this group is extraordinary. The first of these extraordinary alumni is Thomas Bylock. He earned his PhD in criminal justice in 2014 and serves as sergeant with the NYPD. The National Institute of Justice's Law Enforcement Advancing Data and Science program is designed to increase the research capabilities of law enforcement officers and agencies, and Sergeant Bylock was just named as a scholar. This is a huge honor, and on top of the 15 years of service to the City of New York and the years of research you have now contributed to law enforcement and the public health sector. We are pleased to offer you today with one of the 10 under 10 awards. Congratulations, Sergeant Bylock. A point of personal privilege for this next 10 under 10. Michael Blaustein and I served in the Student Association back when we were going to college. And again, during that era, it was like a mix between Veep, House of Cards, and West Wing at the college level. A lot of late nights spent deliberating on bylaws and constitutional challenges and all of that. We thought it was the entire world at that time. But he graduated finally in 2012 and is now serving as the Senior Vice President of Government Affairs for the Partnership for New York City. The Partnership is a nonprofit organization whose 330 members are preeminent business leaders and companies that employ over 1 million New Yorkers. At the start of the coronavirus pandemic, Mike's team worked with the state legislature and the governor's office to support struggling businesses and launched the Small Business Resource Network, connecting business owners to curated public and private resources that they needed to survive losses and prosper in a post-pandemic economy. On top of all of that, he found time to finish up a graduate degree at Cornell University. Mike, we are pleased to recognize you as a 10 under 10 recipient. I had to do that, I'm sorry. Amani Edwards earned a PhD just over a year ago and now serves as Managing Director of Equity and Impact at Everytown for Gun Safety. She has served in the DEI space for over 8 years, including with the Connecticut Bar Association. She has helped professionals across different sectors understand their DEI needs and have helped to generate strategies to build more equitable and inclusive environments. The impact that she has made on the DEI space has been far-reaching since well before graduation, and for that, we would like to recognize her as one of this year's 10 under 10. Kapil Gupta earned an MPA in 2017. He is now serving as the Deputy Director of Public Policy at the India Cellular and Electronics Association. Kapil always had a passion to leverage public policy as a tool to facilitate positive change. In his early career, before he got his MPA, he worked in Gujarat, India, as a Gandhi Fellow to improve school learning outcomes in public schools, impacting more than 2,500 students coming from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. This experience led him to obtain his MPA. Though Kapil was unable to join us this evening, please join me in congratulating him for his 10 under 10. Fraser Lonnie earned an MIA in 2018 and today serves as a policy and program analyst at the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, better known in Albany speak as DISHES. We have several alumni in this room who have made an impact during the coronavirus pandemic, but Fraser is at the top of that list. In 2020, without hesitation, Fraser jumped right in and helped with the state's response to COVID. He played a key role in establishing and managing a program to obtain donated PPE and other critical resources that were in short supply at the time. His work resulted in millions of donated resources from numerous companies such as Tesla and Apple and others beyond that, which enabled the state to provide PPE to healthcare workers, first responders, and others on the front lines. Fraser, the work that you do daily is incredibly important, but in particular, the last couple of years have definitely earned you a place in the 10 under 10 this night. Lauren Manenberg earned a BA in 2017 from Rockefeller College. She liked it so much, she stayed to complete an MPA in 2019. See, for you students that are here, do that. Just do back to back. It's easier. Lauren is currently serving as an account executive at Nat Gerstein, a full-service public affairs and public relations firm that works exclusively with nonprofit organizations. She started her career with CSEA, advocating on behalf of a diverse spectrum of workers from across the state. She then moved into a position supporting then Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul. She then spent her time cultivating relationships and promoted state policies and initiatives. In 2021, when Governor Hochul took office, Lauren moved to the position of Director of Internal and Agency Communications. In this role, she managed state agency and authority priority projects and announcements. She held this position up until a few months ago when she moved to her current role. Lauren, for someone who has only been 5 years out of your bachelor's, you have had truly an impressive career. It is an honor to name you as one of this year's 10 under 10. She is not here this evening, but again, big round of applause for her real quick. Cindy Mellon earned a bachelor's in 2010 and also liked it so much again that she stayed to complete the MPA. See, there's a pattern here, right? Cindy currently serves as Continuity of Operations Director for the New York City Department of Emergency Management. Her team leads COOP planning and implementation across 47 different city agencies. This past December, Cindy led a citywide conference for COOP. Cybersecurity and IT professionals focus on maintaining essential services during a cyber attack. She continues to engage UAlbany students, both in assistance for planning for the conference and also sharing career opportunities. She has a proven ability to adapt emerging needs and is an essential skill for public servants of the future. Her dedicated service to the community is an example to all of us as we search for our role in navigating the unprecedented challenges of our time. Cindy, congratulations on being named as one of the 10 under 10. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Sarita Miller earned her MPA in 2014. She is currently the Deputy Director of Finance at the Natural Resources Defense Council. She manages a team of financial analysts with a primary focus on providing fiscal management to NRDC's DC-based programs. Sarita's accomplishments at NRDC are vast, but there is one item I'd like to bring to everyone's attention. Sarita worked with a team of experts on a proposal to create an equity center at NRDC in 2016. The Equity Center would serve as a dedicated unit to enhance the collective equity advocacy skill set and build broader and deeper communities to an external community of equity and justice experts. After years of work and advocacy, the proposal for the Equity Center was finally approved in 2020. And the NRDC's Environment, Equity, and Justice Center was established in 2021. Sarita, I would like to congratulate you on your accomplishment and am proud to recognize you as a 10 under 10 awardee. Sarita, I know, was on her way up to Albany, but I will acknowledge her accomplishments again. There we go. Deborah Previtt earned a PhD in 2014. She is currently the Assistant Dean for Public Engagement in the College of Arts and Sciences here at UAlbany, as well as Director of the University and the High School program. Every year we have a few alumni who have so many awards and accomplishments and positions that if we listed everything, we'd be here all night and all day and every year, right? But Deb is certainly one of those alums. Just to share a few highlights, because I think they are important. She is in the first class of the Leadership Academy at the Research Foundation, a recipient of the Girls Inc. Lifetime of Inspiration Award, UAlbany's Initiative for Women's Presidents Award, Faculty Advisor of the Year Award, and the Omega, I know, I'm getting there you go, Fraternity Inc. Women of Color Award. Deb is one of those who have committed to a lifetime of public service and helping others. And on top of all this, she's a true gem to be around. Deb, congratulations on being named a 10 under 10 awardee. There you go. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Last but not least, and hopefully my voice will keep on going from here, this evening we are recognizing J.P. Schoolin. J.P. earned an MPA in 2013, is now a senior manager at Ernst & Young. His previous roles were within New York State government. Over the course of his career, J.P. has provided executive management for a wide variety of significant efforts in this field, including managing a state office responsible for a $500 million Health and Human Services Business Transformation Program. JP continues to excel and rise to leadership positions in each of his career moves. While he has moved to the private sector at EY, JP continues to be committed to civic life by not only advising New York State and New York City, but expanding his wealth of knowledge to other state and local governments. JP is yet another example of a true public servant, and we are proud to recognize him as a 10 under 10 this evening. Congratulations again for all of tonight's recipients. I'd like to now ask for all of our 10 under 10 award recipients to please stand in your seats for a moment, and I'd like for you to all recognize them and all their accomplishments once more. Congratulations again to all of our award recipients. Thank you so much for having me as your MC tonight. I really enjoyed it. And now, thank you so much. Before I throw it over to the dean, I just wanted to say, again, what Rockefeller has given to me, in my business doing PR and advertising and public affairs on different clients all across the country, some we have in China and also in Western Europe. This college means a lot to me. It gave me the opportunity to do what I do best, morning, noon, and night, and over the weekends. But I truly believe in the mission of this college, and I really, really thank everything it has given to me. So thank you again. And now, I'd like to turn the mic over to Dean Julie Novkov, interim dean here at Rockefeller College, for the final portion of tonight's evening.
Thank you so much, Joe. You did a beautiful job. Couldn't have asked for anything better. And don't worry, I know we're almost there. Good evening to everyone. What an impressive group of alumni. You truly represent everything that makes me proud to be part of Rockefeller College. So thank you. I'm also so grateful that we've had Michael Christakis and Provost Kim and our wonderful visitors from the governor's office here with us tonight. And thank you again, Joe, for your work. I want to personally congratulate all of the awardees. Your careers and your personal stories are so impressive and inspirational for all of us. As you know, this year is Rockefeller College's 75th anniversary. It has been a year of reflection about the past, a celebration of where we are now, and a time for building our dreams for the future. In addition to our challengers, several of our dedicated alumni have generously sponsored this year-long recognition, and I would like to formally thank them for their support. They are Peter Brousseau, Sherry Denkelson, Gary Streer, Rochelle Haynes, and Michael Tobman. You've all been truly instrumental in making this year a success. So thank you for joining me in celebrating everything that they've helped us with. My thunder got stolen a little bit, but I do want to thank everybody in this room who participated in the 75th Anniversary Giving Challenge. At the beginning of the year, we had 3 tremendous leaders, Joe, Jonathan, and Libby, who pledged $25,000 each to the college. So all gifts that were made to the college this year were matched dollar for dollar by these committed alumni, so we are so grateful for your generosity and for your inspiration. But I would also like to thank you, the numerous alumni, faculty, and staff, and friends of the college who accepted this very ambitious challenge. As you've seen, the challenge was so successful that we didn't just meet our goal. We didn't just meet our second goal. We blew past both of them. So I am just so thrilled that we actually got past that $100,000 mark. It is a real sign of the commitment that our alumni, our friends, our faculty, and our staff have to the Rockefeller community. So thank you everyone for this so much. And if you haven't yet participated, there's still time. But your commitment to us and the work that we do really inspires us to move forward for the next 75 years as we continue to work on the most pressing problems in our communities, our states, our country, and our world, while we prepare the next generations to grapple with these problems effectively and successfully. Today, Rockefeller College offers undergraduate degrees, master's degrees, and doctoral level programs in criminal justice, international affairs, public administration, public policy, and political science. Our students benefit from the academic and experiential learning opportunities in the Capital Region and beyond to develop a really strong foundation for the careers that they take on, as you've heard, in public, nonprofit, and private sectors, as well as careers in teaching and in research. The college's faculty and researchers conduct state-of-the-art research and policy analysis, improve the knowledge and skills of employees in public and nonprofit agencies through professional development, and work with government at all levels in the United States and abroad to strengthen democracy, promote effective governing, and develop and administer a truly just criminal justice system. For 3/4 of a decade, Rockefeller College graduates have entered a workforce full of ever-changing challenges and opportunities. The direction that each graduate takes after leaving Rockefeller College is unique, and tonight we are celebrating each of you and honoring the paths that you've chosen. And for our alumni, you have been part of our past, and I'm very glad that so many of you are here tonight to celebrate our future. In just a few moments, I promise, we're going to start that 75th celebration reception, and I hope you take this time to meet other alumni and celebrate from your friends from the past and reflect on what your education has meant to you. I hope you share some stories about particular faculty who may have made a difference in your life. And in this room tonight, you will find some faculty members, as well as former Dean Rethmeyer and others. So please join me in extending a final congratulations to our award winners and a huge, huge thank you to our donors. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.